YouTube, what up, what up? So your credit's all jacked up, man. You made some mistakes, life happened, and now you're trying to get it back on the right track. Well, good. Don't you worry, I'm here and I'll help you out. First things first, you're going to want to go to annualcreditreport.com and get a credit report and make sure there's no mistakes, because about 25% of people will have mistakes on there. And if you don't have any mistakes, or you do, you're going to want to check what's hurting you. Usually it's missed payments or the age of your accounts or something like that. So once you go get your credit report and you find out what's holding your score back, then you can move to the next step. Alright guys, step 2. For all y'all with that jacked up credit, less than 700, you're going to want to get a secured credit card. Now these are cards where you're going to need to put a deposit down. I'm going to put the top 2 cards that I'd recommend on the screen. One of them is called the Discover It secured card. Now this is the top one I would recommend. And the second one is called the Capital One secured card. Now the Capital One, you're going to need to put a little bit more down. So that's why I'd recommend the Discover one. But they're both great cards, and you're just gonna need to put a little security deposit down. And there's no fees with these, which is also a great reason and why I recommend them as well. Now you got your card. Alright, the third thing you're gonna do is you're gonna only use this card for everyday things that you'd normally be buying anyways, like gas, groceries, just bills. You're not going to want to take this card to the mall and ball out and buy a bunch of stuff that you're not going to be able to pay off at the end of the month, because not missing a payment is the single most important thing when it comes to your credit score. So set up auto pay and pay off your balance every single month, alright guys? Because this is the most important thing when it comes to your credit score, making on-time payments. After you got your auto pay set up and you're only using it for everyday things, the next thing you're going to want to make sure you're doing is making sure your utilization, your credit utilization, is under 1/3 of your credit limit. So say your card has a $300 limit, you're not going to want to run your balance up over $100, alright? And if you have a $900 limit, keep it to $300. You get what I'm saying? So keep your credit utilization to under 1/3. This is going to show the credit companies that you're responsible and you're not high risk, and it's a second most important thing when it comes to help improving your score. Okay? Alright, so now you got your secured card. You're keeping your utilization down. You got auto pay on. And now you're wondering what else you can do to help improve that score. Now, the other things you can do are you can pay down any other debts that you have that are appearing on your annual report that you pulled from the annualcreditreport.com, either Equifax, Experian, TransUnion, one of those 3 reports. So like car loans, maybe you owe utility bills from previous apartments or something like that. So just any other debts you may have that are affecting your credit, you can try and pay those down a little bit too. Now at first this might actually hurt your credit score, but in the long run it's going to help it out. So don't worry if your score falls a little bit at first, but just getting your credit card and using it responsibly should boost your score up like a lot right away. So there's that. Next, you're gonna want to keep all old lines of credit open, because one of probably the third most important thing when it comes to increasing your credit is the age of your accounts. So if your newest line of credit is just your new card, then your age of your accounts isn't going to be very high. So then remember that store card that you got that you never use anymore? It's a good idea probably to keep that open if it's one of your older cards, because the age of your accounts really affects your score. So just make sure you're keeping all your old accounts open, and that should help boost your score as well. And my last tip is don't apply for cards you don't need, all right? So every time you go to the store and they're like, oh, you can save 10% if you apply for our credit card, don't apply for all of those deals and stuff, because when you do that, it's going to pull a hard inquiry of your credit. And if you have a lot of those, it's going to affect your credit score negatively, all right? So just don't apply for cards unless you need them, all right? And just stay responsible with it, stay on top of it, and just give it a little bit of time, and you should get your credit back on point, because we all know how important it is to have good credit, because your credit can affect whether you pay $650 for your car note or you pay $350, or you get that apartment or you don't. So don't underestimate the importance of your credit, guys. I also want to leave with this quote, that credit is a tool. It's just like fire. If you use it right, it can save your life. And if you use it incorrectly, you can really burn yourself, all right? So get that credit up and just keep pushing on, guys, all right? Bad credit ain't the end. We out here getting our money right, $1 at a time. I'm out of here, guys.